Hi, I'm Scott, and this is the 2021 GoldwingDocs Holiday Product Gift Guide Spectacular, coming up next on GoldwingDocs. Now, if you haven't seen this before, this is a product guide where I go over what makes good gifts for motorcycle owners, or to yourself, for the holiday season each year. Normally, I don't do this until late November, sometimes even early December. However, this year is different. Now, in my day job, I work in e-commerce, so I deal with a lot of buyers, and these buyers have been telling me for months that this year is going to be a disaster. Why? The supply chain. When it comes to the holiday season, buyers for retail will normally place their orders early in January or February. So basically, once the December holiday season and Christmas season has finished, the buyers already are starting to place their orders for next Christmas. The manufacturers then take all these orders, consolidate them, decide here's how many orders we have, here's how much we have to manufacture. We start placing the orders for our raw materials in order to manufacture those things so that we can ship it. Then this stuff gets shipped out, arrives September, October, and then it gets put either online or in the stores and then into consumers' homes once they buy it. Now this year is different. Those orders that were placed back in January and February of this year are either late, are not going to arrive at all, or the manufacturers didn't even have the raw materials to make them in the first place. Shipping containers, you know those great big steel things that you see on top of ships and then the intermodal trucks and trains and so on, used to cost $1,500, $1,700 to ship one of those from Asia, where most of this stuff is being made. Let's get real. So from Asia to ship it here was about $1,500, $1,700. That was then. Now the price is closer to $24,000, $25,000 for just one shipping container. So the cost of shipping the goods is up, but there aren't even goods to ship because the manufacturers don't have the raw materials to make them in the first place. So what that means is if you have any intention of buying Christmas gifts for your loved ones, for yourself, for your motorcycle, you need to do it now, because a month or 2 months from now, there's going to be a massive shortage on everything. You simply aren't going to be able to get what you need because the supply chain is empty. Why this hasn't been publicized more, maybe it's not worthy of the news cycle, I'm not quite sure, but all the buyers that I've talked to who buy for retail have told me the same thing, that this Christmas season, there's going to be a massive shortage of everything. So if you want to do your Christmas shopping this year, you need to do it right now. With that said, I have got a great list of items that will help you on your motorcycle, will make your life easier. We got tools, we got accessories, we got all kinds of great stuff. So let's get into it. Now some of these are old standbys and I can't really show you mine because it's plugged in, but this is a battery tender junior. This has been on our list every single year for, I don't know, I think from the very beginning. Now we've done reviews on battery tenders before. We've talked about them and exactly what they do. The battery tender junior is a low-cost battery maintainer. It doesn't charge batteries. It will charge your battery, but it's not a battery charger. Its purpose in life is to maintain the battery at a perfect level of charge or state of charge so the battery lasts the longest. I have had motorcycle batteries last as long as 2 years and then they're dead and you have to replace them. But ever since I started using the battery tender, I have batteries last 10 years. So when you consider a motorcycle battery is $100, that's a good investment. Battery tenders used to be about $25. Sometimes they go on sale for $20. They're a lot more expensive now. Like I said, the supply chain is affecting everything. So battery tender juniors usually about $35 now, but again, good investment. And of course, I'll be putting links to all of these products in the description below. They are Amazon affiliate links, so every time you click one of those links to purchase one of these items, it gives us a little bit of revenue, helps maintain the site, helps us produce these videos, helps us purchase the stuff that we review. So we really appreciate it if you click it. We've also just put a generic Amazon affiliate link down there. If you're going to buy something on Amazon, click that to get to Amazon. And again, we'll just get a little bit of revenue from that. It doesn't cost you any more. It just helps us generate revenue so that we can bring you the forum and the videos and the products and all the good stuff that you love. All right, this is a product that I actually featured on last year's product review. And I said, hey, this is a really great product. We'll do a review on it very soon, and never did because they discontinued that model shortly thereafter. This is the new model. I have one, obviously. This is the MoniMoto 7. It is a GPS tracking alarm system for your motorcycle. It's self-contained, battery powered, has lithium batteries in it that last for about a year. You can replace them, it's about $4 for new batteries. And you hide this tiny little module inside your bike. And what happens is it has a little key fob that you add to your key ring. So when you get on the bike, it detects that there's a key fob on there and nothing happens. You ride off, everything's great. However, if anyone moves your bike, they get on the bike and sit up on it, or they just put it in a truck or on a trailer or something and abscond or steal your bike, this thing triggers. So as soon as it senses movement and it doesn't sense the key fob in the vicinity, it triggers, sends your cell phone an alert, and starts tracking. And so it'll start sending a GPS position every few minutes so you can find exactly where your bike is going. You might even get an insurance discount for this. They can't bypass it by disconnecting the battery because it's self-contained, it has batteries inside. I know there's been so many times where I was on a trip and I parked in a hotel parking lot, and you know, it might be a kind of a sketchy hotel. Who knows? Are you in a good area of town? Nobody really knows. Is someone messing with your bike in the middle of the night? This will tell you. The Innovv K5 4K camera system. I've got it on this bike. 4K camera pointing forwards, a 1080p camera pointing backwards. Fantastic camera. I'll link to the review I did on this below. Everywhere you ride your bike, you have video taken looking forward and backward, and it records it all the time. So anytime you're riding along and you see something and you think, oh, I wish I had a video of that. Well, now you do, because it's recording all the time. Somebody cuts you off and there's an accident, you have video evidence of exactly what happened. Somebody rear ends you, now you got video of it. What I find I use it for more is just basically when you're riding around and you see something amazing, and now you've got video of it. You can, and the quality is such that you can use it in the YouTube videos. It's 4K, it's a really high quality camera. Really highly recommend. I've had Innovv cameras on my bike for many, many years. This one's by far the best. All right, Helinox Chair. The Helinox Chair is a camp chair. It comes in this tiny little carry bag. You can fit it in your trunk. It only weighs a pound or two. You can get small chairs like this elsewhere that are cheaper, but there's a reason why they're cheaper, and that's because they don't last. I've had friends buy cheaper versions of this chair, and within a year or two, they are broken. So you unzip the carrying case. There's actually instructions inside the carrying case in case you really don't know how to work this. But it basically has a very high strength, thick-walled aluminum system with bungee cords inside. So you just kind of like shake it more or less, and everything just fits together into the holes where it's supposed to go, just like that. This is a lot easier to do sitting on the ground than it is holding it up in the air like this, but it is what it is. So then you find the top on here, and you put the top on the long poles like this. Again, much easier to do it on the ground. And then you put the bottom ones in the bottom poles like that. And now you've got a comfy little camp chair that you can use to sit anywhere. I've taken this to the drive-thru and sat through double features in this. 4 hours sitting in this chair. It's really comfortable. It's strong, it can hold several hundred pounds. You can get accessories like cup holders. You can get this web that you can strap on the bottom so you can set it on sand and it won't sink in the sand. It's really high quality. It's really comfortable. You can get versions that have a higher back so you can lean your head back and rest easier. I've had this one for close to 10 years. It's still like new, still works like new. I carry this with me everywhere. When I go camping, I bring this along. It's a little long. It does fit my trunk, but just barely. You could probably fit it in your saddlebags as well. Yes, it would fit in my saddlebag. And it is a table. And this table is aluminum. So it comes with a set of legs, and it comes with the aluminum tabletop. So you pull the tabletop apart, you take the legs, unfold the legs. These pieces then flip around like this and go into these slots here, like that. And then this goes on top. And it just slots in there. So and it slots in there like that. So now you have a nice little camp table. You can put a laptop on there, you can put your food. It's just nice not to be sitting on the ground and eating food off the ground or whatever. It's a nice little strong camp table, relatively cheap, highly recommended. All right, Nelson-Rigg. We have featured Nelson-Rigg products for a few years now. They make really high quality and innovative motorcycle products. I really like what they're doing. We've actually put this has been a contest prize for us for a number of years now. So what this is a tiny little backpack. I carried this in my bike everywhere. In fact, I've got one in my car as well. So this little pouch, it has a handle, you can strap it onto something, you can even just stick it in your pocket. And it pops out a backpack. And the pouch stays attached, and then you zip that up. And now you have a backpack. And it's big enough you can carry a helmet and some groceries and whatever you want to do in there, you can carry it in this little backpack. And when you're done, you just unzip it, turn it inside out, and then just kind of scrunch it up like a stuff sack and stuff it back into this little pouch here, and you can carry it again with you. We have featured this as a product on our contest page. I mentioned, if you haven't visited the contest page on the forum, on the GoldwingDocs forum, you really need to have a look. We give away free stuff every month. All you got to do is go and click register, and you can be in the contest. We've been doing that for over 10 years. We've given away thousands of dollars worth of free stuff. Some of it's cheap, some of it's expensive. All of it's great, like this little Nelson-Rigg backpack. Rev'It Sand 3 gloves. Oh my gosh, I've featured these for the last few years because they keep lasting. I typically will give up on my summer gloves after about 2 years because I just wear them out. Summer gloves typically don't last because they're made of fabric and things that has debris to let the air in so you're not sweltering. But these are different. These are made by fabric on the top, and then they have rubber inserts as armor on the top. So if you go down, your knuckles are all protected, as well as your wrists. So if you hit and slide on your wrist, you have armor there. So all this on the top, and underneath all that is breathable fabric, so you have nice air flow through the glove. On the inside, you have this soft goatskin leather that's so soft and comfortable, and it's reinforced along the thumb and the palm here so that it doesn't wear out. And like I said, this is now 3-4 years I've had these gloves, and they still look like new. They are so comfortable. I absolutely love these gloves. I can't recommend them higher. Rev'It Sand 3 summer riding gloves. When these wear out one day, I will buy another pair. All right, let me open my saddlebag here. This is actually an initial version of the Nelson-Rigg's Defender Extreme half cover. I'm not going to pull it out because it's really big and it's a bit of a job to get it back in this bag. But it's a cover that goes over the entire bike. It fits a huge Goldwing like this. It goes down to just about knee level. So everything on top where you sit stays nice and dry and clean. Anytime I park overnight, I just put that half cover on it. It's waterproof, so it keeps the rain off, keeps the dew off, works really well. Very tough. It's not going to rip from the wind. It's not going to damage your paint from flapping around. Really great product from Nelson-Rigg, that Defender Extreme half cover. I've also featured these before, these Olympia Horizon rain gear. This is the jacket, and I think these are the pants. Maybe the other way around, but I think that's what it is. They, just like the Nelson-Rigg backpack, they have a pouch that's attached that you just go inside out and it stores itself. These things are completely waterproof. I've worn these in absolute downpours. I just toss them in my saddlebag here so when it rains I can pull over and put them on. I featured these in reviews. I featured them in past product reviews. They're really great and they're not made anymore. So instead I'm going to recommend the Nelson-Rigg StormRider rain suit, which is almost identical to those, has the same self-contained pouch, is made of the same material, is Nelson-Rigg, so you know it's going to be quality, completely waterproof. You can get them in high visibility colors like these or neon green. Really high quality product, again, linked down below. So you need to strap something down to carry it externally on your bike because it doesn't fit. So you got bungees, you got rope, you got straps. They never really work well. The straps, you can never get them the right tightness, and then as soon as you start riding, things shift and then they come loose. Same goes for rope. Bungees, on the other hand, are tight, but they're always the wrong length. They're either too tight or not tight enough. So you end up like all kinds of crazy zigzags trying to get the bungees to be exactly the right tightness to hold things in place. So get rid of all that stuff and replace them with these fantastic Rok Straps, which is a combination of both. You got a strap on this side and a bungee on this side, and they connect together with this fastener. So what you do is you fasten this on one side, you fasten the strap on the other side, you adjust the strap to about the right length that you need. Just pull the strap through there until you get it about right. Connect the two together, pull the strap tight, which then stretches the bungee and gives it the tension to hold it in place. And now you have a fastener that's not going to move. It's easy to take apart so you can get access to things on the road without having to adjust and undo and redo all the stuff. These things are just fantastic. Once again, it's a prize we've given away on our contest page many, many times. Really popular product. Really can't recommend these high enough. I carry a bunch of these. I use them all the time. Trauma Pak. It's a simple little first aid kit. It's got first aid stuff in it. It's got like gauze bandages, band-aids, gloves. It's got even like duct tape for a sucking chest wound. But most importantly, it's got a QuikClot sponge. And that is a sponge that has a chemical in it that when you apply it to bleeding, causes the bleeding to coagulate quickly. It even works on arterial bleeds. I have actually used one, not for my motorcycle, because I do carry this one in my motorcycle, but I have one in my car as well. I came across a Harley rider who had crashed. He wasn't wearing a helmet. He had severe concussion and scalp lacerations. There was actually a river of blood flowing down the road into the ditch. As anyone who has had or treated a scalp lac before, they bleed a lot. Your head is very vascular. So I was able to apply the QuikClot sponge from this trauma pack to this gentleman who had crashed his Harley, and it did in fact stop the bleeding from that scalp laceration. He did survive, but he had some permanent brain damage and from that fairly severe head injury. Wear your helmets. Honda spray cleaner and polish. We give this away as a contest prize as well. Fantastic cleaner. Lots of people, not just Honda people, use this for their motorcycles. It's a waterless cleaner. You can spray it on a filthy bike and wipe it off. It's really good at dissolving bugs. If you have bugs all over your windshield like I do right now because I didn't clean my bike the last time I rode it, you can just spray this on the windshield. You can do it at a gas station. Let it sit for a minute or two. It will dissolve the proteins in the bugs, and then just carry a cotton towel like this, wipe the bugs off, and you're good to go. It will clean road grime, grease, anything off your bike. I use this to clean my entire bike. I just use it everywhere on all the bodywork, headlights, chrome, everything. It leaves a thin wax protecting surface behind so that it disperses water, so the water beads and runs off, which is great for your windshield when you encounter rain. All right, you might think this one's kind of silly. A flashlight, really? This is a Streamlight ProTac 2L. I have been carrying a flashlight in my pocket for years, and it is one of the most useful things I've ever done. I've gone through many different flashlights. This is by far the best one I've ever had. It's tiny enough that you can actually carry it in your pocket. It's rechargeable, so you don't have to go through batteries. It's incredibly bright. Now, I'm going to turn it on here and shine it in the camera, and obviously it looks very bright, but that's not going to tell you a whole lot. I'll show some pictures here that I took up north where it was extremely dark, and you can see just how incredibly bright this flashlight is and how it lights up the world around you. It has several different modes. It has the full brightness mode, in which case the battery lasts for about an hour. It has the dim mode, which the battery lasts for about 4 hours. And then it has an emergency mode where you can use it to dazzle someone intentionally, as a weapon, or you can use it if you need to get someone's attention. I mean, this will grab anyone's attention from a really far distance away. It uses CR123 cells inside that. It'll use a pair of the little disposable lithium cells, and I think that's what it comes with. But you can also buy these rechargeable lithium ion cells, and I will put a link to both the flashlight, the batteries, and the recharger that I use. And what I do is I just keep 2 of these batteries on hand, and I swap them back and forth every month or so. And it's just one of the most useful tools I have. It's waterproof. It's incredibly bright. Anytime you need a flashlight, on the side of the road in the dark and your bike is broken, try working on your bike in the pitch black and see how successful you are at the side of the road. You're not going to be very productive in trying to figure out what the problem is. If you have a flashlight like this, you're set. Not only that, you can signal oncoming cars so you know that you're stranded there. Seriously, get yourself a flashlight like this. It's a no-brainer. They're not that expensive. The Streamlight ProTac 2L, like I said, I have gone through so many different flashlights in the last few years. This is by far the brightest, the best, just the best one. Grab one of these. Tools, everybody needs tools. This is the Carbtune motorcycle carburetor balancer. I've used dial gauges, you know, those Harbor Freight vacuum gauges for balancing motorcycle carburetors for years, and you can get them to work fairly well and fairly accurately. The problem is that with the pulses from the valves opening and closing, it causes the needles to really vibrate back and forth, and then you have to try to set up, like I use aquarium valves and tubing and all kinds of stuff to try to damp those pulses, and you still have to like guess, like, oh well, it's the value is actually somewhere in between with this area where the needle is shaking. So instead, use something like this. This Carbtune has 4 gauges inside that are graduated, so you can actually measure them. And with carburetor balancing, it's less about the absolute vacuum value. It's more that you want to get all the cylinders balanced exactly, so all the carburetors have the same amount of vacuum in them. And so how they do that is, instead of having a needle that has no weight to it and doesn't have any damping, it has these metal rods inside. And I'll suck on this so you can see it. So you can see as you apply vacuum, those rods slide up inside there. And because those rods are metal and they have a fair amount of weight, there's inherent dampening. So all those little pulses don't cause the rods to vibrate up and down. They damp themselves. So it's really easy to balance carbs with this. You just basically, you connect this up, and it has all the hoses and connectors and everything that you need to hook up to 4 cylinders. And you start the bike up, let it idle, and then adjust the carbs and so that all 4 rods are even. And once you've done that, your motorcycle carbs are balanced. The 4-cylinder wings are far more susceptible to carb imbalances. If you have a rough takeoff when you first start off in first gear, a lot of primary chain rattle. If you hear a really loud rattling noise, it gets louder as you apply more throttle. The cause is usually imbalanced carburetors. This is what you need. Carbtune Pro. Garmin InReach Mini. We did a review on this earlier this year. Actually, was it last year? I think it was last year. It's a satellite tracker, messaging system. For years, I had a spot tracking device, which allows you to press the helicopter button, like I call it, that basically says, hey, it is an emergency, I've crashed, I'm in danger of dying, something's gone really wrong, someone's injured. Press the button, help comes, usually in the form of helicopters. This one has the same thing. It's got a little SOS button on the side there. You can flip that open and push the button underneath and the helicopters come. Like the Spot, it's waterproof. Unlike the Spot, this is rechargeable. And also unlike the Spot, this is 2-way. So you can send messages out. You can actually create text messages, whereas the Spot has a button where you can just push, hey, I'm okay, hey, I need help, or I think one other, you can say, hey, I'm stopping for the night. This one has similar preset messages, but you can also, type messages into it, or you can Bluetooth it to your phone and type on your phone and send text messages out with this thing and receive text messages back. So if you say, hey, I'm stopping for the night, or if you have an emergency, you say, I need help, they'll come back and say, well, what kind of help do you need? Do you need medical help? Is there a fire or whatever? And you can actually reply and tell them exactly what you need. On top of that, it sends obviously your GPS position to the satellite. You can send it so it will track as you go. So as you're riding, your family members can see how your progress is going. It's just a safety device you can just carry with you. I use it all the time. We weren't going to get through a product review without the Jaco FlowPro air chuck. This is just a fantastic air chuck. Everybody who uses it loves it. You just plug it into your air compressor. It has the pressure that reads out right on this display right here. It lights up and shows you the pressure. You have 2 valves. You have a fill valve and a drain valve that will let air out. So if you have overpressure, you can fix it as well. The chuck is just a dream. You know how most air chucks, you get them on and they leak, and well, this one not only it rotates so it's easy to get on. All you have to do is just push it on and it seals instantly. To get off, you just push that button, it comes off. There's no of the latching mechanisms or all the other kinds of trucks, cheap trucks that don't work so well and always leak. This thing is just a dream to use. Absolutely, it makes filling and checking your tires an actual pleasure. Everybody who has bought this on the GoldwingDocs site after we featured it just writes about how much they love this thing, and I have to say I love it as well. Okay, here's something we haven't talked about before because it's been sitting in a box waiting for me to review it, so I figured I'll just pull it out and show you what it is. It's a hydraulic bleeder valve, and what it does, it lets, when you're doing bleeding of brakes or clutches, it just makes it easier to do for one person. You get some tubes, and then you get a valve that you plug in between the tubes and a seal. So what it is, it's a one-way valve. You can see there's an arrow on there that points one way. You stick the two tubes on the end, and I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this on camera, but let's see if I can force it on. No, I'm not. I'm gonna have to lubricate these. So basically, you're gonna take these two tubes, shove them onto these barbs, put the clamp over the inlet, that's where the pressure is, and you put it on the bleed nipple for the brakes or the clutch. Then what happens is, as you're pumping your brakes, normally what would happen is when you open that bleed valve, you'd pump it out, and then you have to close the bleed valve so it doesn't suck air back in before you let go. So it's almost a two-person job. So you have one person working the brake or the clutch, and the other person closing and opening the bleed valve. So this, because it has a one-way valve in it, you just put the tube over the bleed nipple. This lets the fluid only flow in one direction. So all you gotta do is just pump. And when you let go, it can't suck air back in because it's got the one-way valve. So this is a really simple and cheap little tool that makes bleeding so much easier for one person. All right, we're getting close to the end. Crescent wrench, everybody knows what this is. Everybody knows what they're good for, and that's for rounding off nuts and bolt heads, because these things never go tight enough. You can tighten it up there, and as soon as you turn it once, now it's loose and it's slipping and rounding off the corners and ruining your fasteners. These things are awful. They're good for emergencies, but not much else. So we're not featuring this because it's junk. Instead, we're going to feature the Knipex Wrench, which is an alternative. It goes anywhere from huge to fairly small, and why it's so superior is because it uses the force of your hands as you grip the levers, and it has a tremendous mechanical advantage on this rack and pinion in here that then uses that force to grip the nut. And if you notice, the jaws move parallel to one another, so it's unlike pliers where you have always an angle, so it's not quite gripping the nut at the correct angles. So this, you put on the nut, you crank it shut, and now you can turn the nut and it's not going to slip, it's not going to ruin the nut or bolt, and it's not going to slip off. These are not cheap, but they're really, really high quality. They're made in Germany, and they're perfect alternative to the adjustable wrench. They work on any size fastener, metric or standard, and they're just highly recommended. I love these things. I use them all the time. A thermos container. You think, well, a thermos? Really? Seriously? Well, yeah, because what I do with this is it's a large thermos. It carries a whole liter. I just put water in it. It's stainless steel. This one's powder coated. It's got a vacuum liner in it, so you can put cold water in it and it'll stay cold. But more importantly, it has a rubber seal on the top right there so that it doesn't leak. So I can crank this shut and I can toss it in my trunk, and I know I'm not gonna go somewhere and then find the trunk soaking wet because the stupid top leaked. So high quality, stainless steel, liter size, and I just carry, this is almost my reserve emergency water. So this one's actually, you can see it's not quite empty because I actually got into this on my last trip because it was so hot. So I do use this all the time. Every couple of weeks I'll just drain it and fill it with some fresh water. A really great item if you need it for, not just for drinking water, if you need it to, what if you broke down on the side of the road and you need to clean your hands after you fix your bike, or you had an injury, you need to clean a wound, you just carry some water with you, and this is a great way to do it. All right, last item on the list, Nitrile Gloves. I use these black nitrile powder-free gloves all the time. And I get the thick 9mm gloves. If you get like the cheap 2-3mm gloves, you use them for 5 minutes and they rip open and they're useless. So get these high thickness 9mm or 10mm gloves. These got really scarce and really expensive when COVID started, as it all PPE and masks and gloves and so on. I unfortunately did not have enough stocked up and I almost ran out. So I had to kind of ration them for a little bit. Now that COVID is hopefully declining, nitrile gloves are a lot more available, but they definitely have not become as cheap as they once were. So while you can still get them now. I use these anytime I'm working on my bike because, I mean, obviously it keeps your hands clean, but especially when changing your oil, contaminated engine oil is highly carcinogenic, causes cancer. You don't want that on your skin soaking into your body. So get yourself some nice nitrile gloves. Well, that's it. That's our product review video for this year, 2021. I hope you liked what you saw. Don't forget, all of these products are featured down in the description below, and I'll also put a link to the GoldwingDocs forum where we put the forum version of this post into the website so you can browse and see all the links and also have links to the individual items for which we have reviews online. And if you like what you saw here today, you want to see more like it, we've got lots more coming. Please click subscribe and then that little bell down below. You'll get notified every time we post a video like this. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section below. We read all the comments and it really helps us if you give us direction as to what you like, what you didn't like, what you'd like to see. Thanks for watching.